Well, hey there. So this morning I was on Facebook and a fellow pastor shared with some other pastors his videos, and he's trying to encourage people to get onto YouTube and start channels. And though I am posting stuff on social media and online all the time, I've never really done a YouTube channel. And I didn't know why I would want to. I've got Facebook, I'm using Instagram, I have the church YouTube, and I post things over there. And so he started just going through his bit on the things that could be done on YouTube. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll give it a shot. And I listened to his posts, and I looked up, a how to on YouTube. And there was a guy, and turns out he was a Christian as well, and he's actually one of the most famous YouTube how-to influencer guys. And so I guess this is it: is they ask these questions, and I probably should even mention this at the beginning. I'm probably not going to make a very good YouTube video for my first one, but if you're going to make a successful YouTube channel, you need to figure out who you're trying to talk to and why would they want to listen to you. So it's like, who am I talking to? What kind of problems, or what could I ever provide for them? And why would they want to subscribe to my channel and listen to more? And then lastly, are there other channels out there you're going to be competing with and fighting for? Like, why would they pick your channel over their channel? There's all the other channels you could be a part of. And so I just thought about it, and it's like, I'm a crafty guy. I can teach about cars, and I know woodworking, and I know welding, and I know video editing, and I know how to play the guitar, and I write music. I do all these things, but the biggest thing in my whole life, it is my faith, and I'm a pastor, and I love to teach the Bible. I love most of all to see believers grow. I love to see people who are already saved. And it always feels weird for me to say that, but just maybe God has a purpose for me that is maybe more specific than just reaching the lost. Because I do street outreach. I've done door to door in the past. I teach people how to do evangelism, because evangelism is so important. And yet my heart continues to long to see Christians just blossom and bloom and grow in their faith. And God put this idea of revival in my heart when I moved my whole family to start a church. We were going to start a home Bible study, and now I'm pastoring this church, and there's people, and it's awesome. But what's fascinating is when these guys were suggesting, every YouTube how to get your first subscribers and all that, they always talk about, well, who are you going to reach, and what are you going to solve, and why would they want to listen to you? Well, the best niche out there is the ones that are just like me. I'm 35, and regardless of what my 20-year-olds at church say, I'm not that old. And I think there's a generation, my generation, I'm an old millennial. Some people say that maybe I'm like, we're that cross where you're a young Gen Z, or are you or Gen X, not Gen Z, I'm not Gen Z, but Gen X into the millennials and even Gen Z. We're a generation that's never seen revival. We're a generation that's never seen the church on fire. I mean, we've seen good little things happen, but we're talking about like authentic, like where everyone is just sold out for Jesus, and we're seeing lives transformed. And I know that even though I was raised in the church, at one point God got a hold of my life, and it felt weird because it felt like I was alone, because it felt like there was other people I could go to church with. But as I looked around at the people my age, there wasn't that many who just seemed on fire, that they wanted to give God everything. But I know that there's more out there, and there's more people like that, because God has brought them into my life, and I've had the opportunity to disciple and work with them, and I've seen young people give their lives for Jesus and just be sold out and be expendable for Christ. And what's funny is that not only have I learned a lot, and I think God has taught me so much in just to how to live a life for Jesus 100%, and how to still raise a family and have a job and yet live wholeheartedly for Christ. But the funny thing is when the other bit of how to do YouTube, I was learning about this morning or just watching some videos is, who's your competition? And when I got onto YouTube and I started looking up revival, maybe I'm looking up the wrong word. I know it's revival. I know what Christians need, but maybe they don't even know that's the word they're looking for, because when you look up in revival, it's all old people. And I'm not trying to be mean or offensive. You see, this isn't bad that it's old. In fact, something I'll be sharing in future videos is how one of my go-to sayings is, if it ain't dead, it ain't red. Or if he ain't dead, it ain't red. I hardly ever read books by people who are still alive because there's so much just amazing. Like, why do I want to learn from the second and third tier guys when the greatest of the greats over the last 500 years, right? I want to hear from these guys. I want to hear from the guys that have moved mountains with their faith. And most of them are dead. But their writings are still there. And I want to share these things with people so they can they're so inspirational. But it's all old people. So there's nothing wrong. I want to see old people on fire for Jesus too. And if you think you're old, you can be on fire too. But what it is there was no one younger. In fact, I don't know if maybe there was one video with 40 views of someone under the age of 40 talking about this. Maybe you can help me, and maybe you can post a comment, right? We're supposed to ask you guys to do that. It is what am I looking for if it's not revival? But you know what I'm talking about. These people who they're hungry because they know there's something more out there. And maybe the church you're in, you look to the left and the right and you just don't see people who have this desire to just go all out for God. And maybe you feel like you lack resources, and maybe you feel like you're hitting walls and you're hitting thresholds. You're not able to break through to that next level, and you yet know that there's even more levels beyond that, and there's so much more. And this is the kind of people I want to connect with, and I want to help, because God has done so much in my life to get me here. And the beautiful thing is that he hasn't perfected me yet. I'm still struggling with sin. I'm still struggling with self and flesh and all these things. And yet he's given me such hope and such peace. And he's opened up so much before me. And so, yeah, that's my goal. Is just something geared to the people who want more. They want more than the status quo, and they want something authentic. Man, I don't want hype, all right? Like, I am disgusted by people who are trying to find new ways to do things with the Bible. Man, we don't need something new. We just need something true, okay? And I don't need smoke and lights. And you know what? If I go someplace and they're preaching the Word of God and it's true and it's on fire and they have smoke and lights, awesome. But I'm just saying, I'm not into attractions. I'm not into flashy, and you're not going to get a lot of that from me. I'm a silly guy by nature. I'm funny, and I might be goofy at times, because that's just me. But that's the cool thing, is that God wants to start revival and do amazing things with goofy people, serious people, boring people, loud people, quiet people. It doesn't matter who we are. It just matters that we have a heart on fire for Him. And so, cries for revival. That's why I ended up naming this station, because that's what I have in here, are these cries for revival out of the dead church, out of your family. You're the one who's crying out, Lord, I need to know more about who you are and how I can serve you and how I can just be on fire. And I pray that as people do gather to watch these videos, that fire will beget fire, and that there will be encouraging taking place, and there'll be resources shared, and that if you feel alone, in your desire to just get the real deal. I want the real deal. I want the stuff out of the book of Acts. I don't want, what so many churches are offering. I want good things, and I never want to trash talk the church, because so many pastors are trying hard and so many are doing a great job. So it's not about that. But it's that so many people feel like there's something more out there. And at least, hopefully at this place, we can gather together, and I can at least share, and I can point you guys down so many roads that have just blessed my heart, and we can go through some of that stuff together. So this is now where I guess I have to do that whole, like, don't forget to click subscribe and all that kind of stuff, because I do want this to get out. I do want people to find out. I do want people who are looking for this to find it. And so if you can help, I said, give a suggestion. I don't even know what kind of keywords and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm still learning. But that's the kind of stuff. I want to figure out how to reach the people who are looking for this. I'm hoping that those who are seeking God and wondering, what is it out there? There's something more. I know there's something more. And it's not different. It's nothing new. It's just trying to take those time-trusted truths that very often have been lost because people are looking for things that are new, when what they really needed was the old paths where the good way is, and just those paths that have been walked down for 500, for 1,000, for 2,000 years. There have been young people and old people, and they've wanted to seek the Lord, and they've found there's this path, and they walk it, and they're walking in the footsteps of the saints who've walked it before them. And it's amazing. So, if I could make a YouTube channel for anyone, those are the people I'd make it for. You can learn the Bible from 1,000 different places, and you can learn a lot of things from other places, but I'm seeking personal revival in my heart, and I'm seeking other people who want to experience that with me. And so, yeah, this is video 1. You've got suggestions on things that might help, let me know, and I will make a video. God bless you guys.